Praise your holy name, Father. I come to you today to rejoice in your wisdom and to even rejoice when those are persecuting me and trying to call me names. Forgive them, Father. I truly ask for your forgiveness on them. Because they truly don't know what they're doing. They really, really don't know what they're doing. Forgive them, Father. And show them the light and the truth, that they will come to you before it's too late. In the name of Yeshua HaMashiach. Amen. Well, Trust Yah 777 sent me a video, and I watched it. And I thought about posting it on my site because legally, by this person sending me this video, it becomes my video and I could publish it, but I'm going to share a link with it. This person is one of Elizabeth's group, AmightyWind. And you know, it doesn't get better, it just keeps getting worse. And she draws these young people into her occult and warps their minds. The only one of the whole bunch that really knows me is Elizabeth. And she calls me a Judas. And she don't even know me that well, really. I mean, when it comes right down to it, the spirit that she has, she doesn't know me. And really, this is a hard video because on this video, they slander 20 of us. Yes, I'm the 10th person down on the line. And yes, I'm a Judas to her. But let me explain why I broke from Elizabeth, really broke from Elizabeth. One is her hate and encouraging people to pray curses on other people, when I really believe that we need to pray blessings upon people, not curses, and we need to pray for their soul salvation. She gets angry because she says people are trying to destroy her reputation. Well, I'm sorry, Elizabeth, but you pretty well destroyed your own reputation. And when there was been false accusals of you, saying you did certain things that I know for a fact that you didn't do, I have defended you. But I cannot defend you when you are walking in sin and doing the things you're doing and have done in the past. No, you haven't killed anybody. I really don't think you've ever molested any children. If you did, that's really top secret. But people, I want you to go to this video, and it's a song, a rap song about a whole bunch of us and calling us, okay, either we're Satanists, we're Judas, or we're in a cult, or part of a cult. Really slandering, really slandering. Well, let me tell you, Elizabeth, what you did and what you have done is sin. Let me tell you something about Chuck Wilson. Chuck was a good man. I liked him. I talked to him and I liked him. But he's a very confused man, easily manipulated. And when Elizabeth was young, and she had ran from her husband, or her ex-husband, because supposedly he was so mean and cruel to her. I have come to believe a lot of that's a lie. But at that time she had kidnapped her younger son and took off and come to Arkansas. She was still married to this man, Walter. But she was looking for her soulmate, and she put it up on her website. And there's many people that has many documents to prove all this stuff. I don't, but there are some that do. And I would encourage them to put them up. I really would. And I'm not doing this out of hate or anger. I want people to wake up and realize what this woman is. Because she will steal your children. If your children have any kind of problem, she will steal them and turn them against you as a parent. So beware. She puts her youth out on the street preaching the gospel, stealing children and adults. I mean, just here a while back, one of her group had left his wife and come to her group in Florida. And because his wife would not join him in this occult, she was smart enough not to join him. His name is Yazfar, and he left his wife, divorced her beyond the word of Elizabeth, who says that it's a holy divorce decree. Totally a lie. Lie, lie, lie. But let's go back to Chuck Wilson. I really want to get this straight. Elizabeth used to be really thin and very beautiful. She would wear clothes that showed her cleavage, and people's got pictures of that too. And I encourage them to put them up. You know, let the truth come out. Just let it shine before she steals more souls. But anyway, Chuck had come across her website, and she was wanting a webmaster because the one that she had quit. So, and Chuck's a very smart, intelligent man. He had very influential jobs. He's a very educated man. And Elizabeth isn't. But she does have that spirit of Jezebel that knows how to manipulate men. And back in that day, she could use her beauty along with it. But Chuck left his wife of 17 and a half years, a lovely Filipino woman that cooked his meals, that waited on him hand and foot, that loved him and still loves him, and went down where Elizabeth was here in Arkansas, not too far from where I live. Anyway, he went down there and he got involved with her. Now, I can't say it was sexually. I don't know. When I was talking to Chuck, he never did say. But he would always look down and kind of like guilty, so I can always assume what I want, but I'm not going to say that they did. But at the time, there was this man up in Minnesota, a wife and children. I also seen her website because she was wanting her soulmate. And he decided he was that soulmate. So he packed up his wreck of a vehicle, and along the way having trouble. Maybe that was God trying to tell him, don't leave your wife and children and go to this woman. Maybe he was trying to stop him and get some sense into him, but he didn't. He made his way on down to Arkansas and showed up on the doorstep and just stepped in and took over. Took Chuck's car, because his vehicle wasn't no good, and Elizabeth didn't have a vehicle, and Chuck had this nice car that cost him $33,000, and they just took it away from him. Really. And when the police come looking for her because they were after her for kidnapping her youngest son, and when they come to the house, her son, Elizabeth, and Nico snuck out the back window and hid in the woods while poor Chuck had to handle the situation. And same as lied to the police. And then, while they were leaving and on the run, they dropped him off at a filling station, and so we had to get a bus and go back to California. But during this time, he had went back to California and come back, and his wife had fixed him a beautiful meal and put in a chest so that he would have food to drive down to Arkansas with. I mean, but she encouraged Chuck to get a divorce because Chuck had money. He had a saving account. He had checking account. I mean, this man had jobs that he worked in the church. Also, he worked in the educational board. I mean, this man got good money. And she caused him to quit his job to come to her. This man gave up everything for Elizabeth. Everything. He gave it up. He gave up his marriage. He gave up his home. He was emptying his checking account. He was emptying his savings account until his family with his then wife blocked everything where he couldn't do it because the bank even knew that he was in a cult and that he was just throwing things away. So for his own protection, they stopped it. And thank God they did. But when it come to time, I met him in 2005. They were still on the run. They were hiding and they were on the run because the son was still with them. And anyway, I met him up in Utah, and she had to have a condo with a hot tub. You know, it's only the best for Elizabeth. Only the best that she required. And the money that she would spend would be your money that you donated to the ministry. Now, people gripe about Benny Hinn having more than one mansion and a whatever he has. They gripe about him and his money, but Elizabeth is no different. She's in for it for the money, and she deceives people for the money so that she can live a good lifestyle and live in pretty condos with hot tubs, which that can't be a ministry. But anyway, she ended up in Alaska in a cabin. Her, Nico, which his real name is Paul, and Chuck, and her son, and they decided to leave and go to overseas. So on their way, they didn't want Chuck to go with them, so on a cold winter's day in Alaska, they dropped him off at a filling station, just like garbage along the road. And if it hadn't been for two people that knew what was going on, they picked him up and they took him to a homeless shelter up there so that he could have somewhere to stay and eat. But they didn't care. They just kicked him out to the road. They used him, stole his money, used him, and then kicked him to the road. Come down to Oregon. They had got passports, and I don't know how they got passports, but they got them, and they took off with over $10,000 in their pocket, which you're not supposed to do, but they were managed to hide some of it and go over, because these are words that Elizabeth told me, straight to me. So in other words, she lied to the government about what kind of money she had to go over, because you're only allowed to take so much money with you overseas. Well, she went over there, and her son, whom she had kidnapped, had met this girl in Montana and fell in love with her, but Elizabeth didn't like her. Oh, I mean, Elizabeth hated this girl. Hated her with a passion. And didn't want her son to have anything to do with her. So her son decided to come back to the United States. She tried to prevent him from coming back, even locked him into a room to keep him from coming back, but he got out and he got away, and he come back to the United States, and he won't have anything to do with his mom now, because none of her kids will. Not a single one of them will have anything to do with Elizabeth because of what she has done, what they have seen her do, and they despise her, truly despise her. So, when you watch this video that Trust Yah 777 sent me, and I'm going to put it down below the comments and stuff, and I want you to go there and I want you to really look at it. I want you to see the hate and the anger that she bestills in these young people. That's an occult. One, you separate people from their families. You separate people from their mates. You isolate them in spots and tell them they cannot talk to other people. They cannot communicate with other people, but they have to do what you say to do all the time. That is an occult. She controls their lives totally, and she tells them what to think, what to speak, and how to speak it. And then she says it's all the Ruach Kadesh. You know, I pray for every one of these young people that's on this tape, that's making it for her. And that's what they're doing. They're making it for her, glorifying Elizabeth, Nicole, Elijah. They're glorifying her and saying she's the only way. Well, I have you know, the only way to heaven is Yeshua, Jesus Christ. Not through me, not through Elizabeth, but only through him walking in his love and his grace and his righteousness. Yeshua would have never taken anyone and dumped them in a cold winter in a gas station. The last time I talked to Chuck, he did not want Elizabeth and them to know where he was at. He didn't tell me everything that happened, but he said, Barbara, there was many bad things happened during that time. These are his words. It's been, what, year or two since I've talked to Chuck, so I know he's still alive. She didn't kill him. But he's running and hiding because he knows things. He knows things that she knows, that he knows that she knows that he knows, and that if he ever broke forth and told all the truth, it would not only destroy her reputation, but her ministry. It would. But he prefers to hide. You know, one of the last times I talked to her, around the first of this year, she was wanting to know if I knew where Chuck was. Well, at that time, no, I didn't know. I did know at one time, but I wouldn't have told her anyway if I still knew. I honor Chuck's wishes. And for some reason, he's afraid, or he would not be in hiding. He really is in hiding. Now, of course, she can call me a liar. But I want you to check it out. I want you to go to her website, the AmightyWind.com website, and really look at all the hate, all the bitterness and the angers that she teaches people. And that's not Yeshua. Don't be deceived. Don't go into an occult. You don't need Elizabeth Elijah approving your life. And I have come to the point, I truly believe that she is a false prophet. Because a lot of the things that she teaches, I told her that I believe. Not about zombies, no. I don't believe these last prophecies that's put out. But she has taken a lot of things that I have told her that I believe and twisted them and made them into her own words and her own prophecies, which according to the scriptures is stealing. Stealing ministries. That's a sin. And I really hate to have to do that. But the battle keeps going on, and she keeps using these young people. And I grieve for every one of them. I pray that someday they will see the truth and come out of it. Quit sending their money and their time worshiping a false prophet who is a Jezebel and has the true spirit of Jezebel that can deceive and use people and mind control them. She calls me a Judas, and she thinks that Pastor George bought my soul with a webcam. Elizabeth, If I was going to sell my soul to Satan, it would take a lot more than a webcam to buy it. Okay, where's my new home? Where's my riches in the bank? You know, if I was going to sell my soul to Satan, I really want something to show for it. Besides a webcam. Come on, get real, girl. Wake up before it's too late for you. Because you are living in sin. You say that you don't sin. You're living sin. Every family you break up, like you did with Chuck, that divorced this beautiful woman who loved him and took care of him. And all the other ones that you've caused to leave their mates because supposedly they're unequally yoked together. If they're already married before they ever met you, you have no business to interfere. Yeshua said that. He said, when the scribes and Pharisees come to him, the only reason why Moses granted them the writ of divorce was because the hard-hardness of their own hearts and their stiff-neckedness. But that was not to be so from the beginning. Divorce was just not to be so. And there is no holy writ of divorce. You are leading these people down a road that is abominable and sinful. Now, I'm saying this to every one of you young people that made this video. I know you're deceived. You don't think you are, but I know you're deceived. And I pray for your souls. I pray for you that you really get in touch with Yeshua. I don't want you to come and follow me. No, 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 no. I don't want you to follow anyone but Yeshua HaMashiach, Jesus Christ. Because he loves you and he died for you. Elizabeth didn't. And I think back as far back, I just don't know why God got me involved with her. Why God. Maybe it's for this time to call her out and let people know the truth about her, how she has done other people. And it breaks my heart about Chuck because he gave it all. He left his marriage. He left his new home that was only 2 years old. He took all of his money that he could get a hold of and give it to her. She stole her and Nico stole Chuck's car. I mean, manipulated him, brainwashed him because they didn't have a car and they needed a car. Left him afoot. God forgive you, Elizabeth, for breaking that marriage up. God forgive you for breaking all the other marriages that you have done and broke up. Please, people, don't leave your mates just because you don't see eye to eye spiritually. Don't leave your mates because of a Jezebel spirit. Please, if your mate is serving God and trying to walk and that stands by you, don't leave your mate. Please don't leave your mate. It is not God's will. It is not Yeshua's will. Please listen to the Spirit. I've been married to my husband Carl for 32 years. 32 years. Have we had ups and downs? Sure. Have we had disagreements? Sure. Does he believe exactly like I believe? No. But am I going to leave him? No. I love him. He loves me. He loves me enough that when I broke my back and Elizabeth didn't want to take me to the hospital, she said, God will heal you. I know God will heal me. But my husband was so afraid that he wanted me to go to the hospital and check out, and she was arguing with him, and my husband went off on her. He says, "Lady, if you don't take my wife to the hospital and get her checked out and get some help, I will drive up there." Well, needless to say, my husband's a Vietnam vet. There would have been some bad trouble if he'd have got up there. So Chuck took me to the hospital. And then right after Chuck and this other girl that was with him left and went back to California, they made me leave. I was going to stay longer, but they made me leave with a broken back, in pain. Had to get on the airplane and fly back home. But I just want you to know the truth. When I put, and I'm sorry for all my dogs, somebody's here, so when somebody new comes, they all go off. But Father, in the name of Yeshua, I plead the blood over this video. I plead the blood over everyone that's in this other video that I'm going to put up. And I plead the blood over Elizabeth. Please, please, bring her to her knees. Please. And put your forgiveness upon her and bring her into obedience to her and out of the sin and darkness and the hate and the bitterness and the anger and the lying and the deception that she does. I ask this in the name of Yeshua HaMashiach. Amen.